I remember being 21, I was a shining example of self-discipline. My mornings began with hour of yoga, flowed into hour of meditation, and I wouldn't touch sugar. And I used to wonder why my friends weren't doing the same, especially since they heard the same advice I did. But over the years, I have experienced firsthand how difficult it can be to maintain habits, especially once the momentum is broken. I compared this to flying a plane. The takeoff, the hardest part, burns tons of fuel. But once you're cruising, you can hit autopilot and save energy. However, here's the catch. For those who've been cruising for a long time, it's easy to forget how tough that takeoff was. You start thinking, maybe I'll just touch down for a bit. It's nice down there. Better food, right? But when they decide to take off again, they're hit with a harsh reality. It's not that simple. That brings me to the golden rule of habit maintenance. Don't get too full of yourself. Just because it's smooth sailing now doesn't mean you're some kind of superhero. You're just riding the wave. Break that momentum, and you'll quickly realize that what seemed like excuses for laziness before suddenly become your reality. Another key point is to be ready to take some hits. When you're committed to meditation, working out, and eating right, some folks might call you extreme, tell you to loosen up a bit. They don't realize it's actually easier to keep going than to stop and start again. And sure, they might say you're too self-involved, especially when your routines mean less time for others. It's important to stay open to criticism and see if there's truth in it. But also, be ready to handle it with grace. Understand that sticking to your path is probably the best thing you can do for those around you. When people see you living healthy, happy, and thriving, it inspires them more than any lecture you could give. In the bottom line, creating a rhythm in your habits is akin to powering a locomotive. It demands steady effort, and once the wheels start revolving, it's challenging to halt. So now let's delve deeper into 3 science-backed strategies that will help us create momentum and maintain healthy habits. The first strategy is to establish a trigger. This implies identifying a regular part of your day that will signal it's time for your habit. It could be waking up, completing your morning meal, or even a specific time of the day. By associating your habit with an existing routine, you're more prone to adhere to it. This is not merely a suggestion, but a scientifically proven technique known as habit stacking, coined by B.J. Fogg, a Stanford University researcher. It posits that, by attaching a new habit to an existing routine, the brain's automatic response can be used to reinforce the new habit. The second strategy is to make the habit easy to initiate. When you're forming a new habit, it's vital to eliminate as many obstacles as possible. If your goal is to exercise more frequently, for instance, set your workout clothes by your bed the previous night. By preparing ahead of time, you diminish resistance and make it to begin. This principle is derived from the law of least effort, a psychological concept that suggests humans are inherently inclined to the path of least resistance. If a task is easy to do, we are much more likely to do it. Finally, the third strategy is to start small. It might seem appealing to dive headfirst into a new endeavor, but starting with a manageable task and gradually increasing its difficulty is often more effective. If your objective is to read more, begin with just a page or 2 each day. Small steps can result in significant transformations. This approach aligns with the Kaizen philosophy, a Japanese business philosophy that champions continuous improvement through small, incremental changes. Over time, these consistent minor actions will only become deep-rooted in you, but will also empower you with enhanced abilities to yield positive outcomes. It's not solely about leading a better life. It's about constructing a better world, one habit at a time.